Welcome to The Complete Teacher, 101 meaningful, bite-sized professional development lessons, each coming with thought-provoking titles, relevant, inspiring quotes, helpful text with anecdotes, data, and wisdom, and action steps. Lesson 17, The Undeniable Power of Routines. 40% of teachers spend more time keeping order than teaching, says Lee Cantor. The most important day of a person's education is the first day of school, not graduation day, says Harry Wong. Cantor's assertion is staggering, and it should remind teachers that we can do a better job of establishing and maintaining routines in order to optimize learning during the school year. Harry Wong's claim should remind us that we cannot assume that our students know what we want them to do at any given time. We have to take the time to train them. Wong adds, the number one problem in the classroom is not discipline. It's the lack of procedures and routines. With that in mind, here are 6 areas through which routines can help turn your classroom into a well-oiled machine. Number 1, daily class greetings. Greet your class with consistency each day. It accomplishes much at the same time. It builds rapport, establishes a physically and emotionally safe learning environment. It establishes an opening routine to your class, signifying that it's time to begin. This may involve shaking hands at the door, greeting the class from the front of the room, singing a little jingle, call and response with the class, or a combination of these things. Number 2, expectations. Make sure students know what to do at given times, such as when they enter the room or finish a task. Harry Wong wrote that the most successful classes are those where the teacher has a clear idea of what's expected from students, and the students know what the teacher expects from them. Untold swaths of time can be wasted when students enter the room waiting for direction. Similarly, the kids who tend to complete tasks before their peers and are unproductive with that extra time, or worse, they distract others from learning. Commonly known as bell work, establish expectations for what students are to do when they enter the room. Establish similar expectations for those early finishers. Have them start on homework, have them get out a book, compare notes with their partner, grab an enrichment handout from a designated location in the room, choose from a menu of fixed options. There may be different expectations for different occasions. Early in the year, take the time to teach them to your students. It will save you and your students untold quantities of time in the end. Number 3, pick a Pavlovian spot, right? Just like Pavlov's dogs. Whether it's at your desk, behind your podium, next to a whiteboard, have a consistent place in the room from which you give instruction or address your students. Your students will learn to treat your words from this spot with reverence. If you're moving around the room or trying to multitask when you talk to your class, they will quickly conclude that what you have to say isn't even that important to you, so it can't be very important to them. Number 4, transitions. You might have a clap pattern, hand signals, a designated place on the board with directions, or next steps listed on the board, on a projector, on a device. Don't get frustrated if all 30 students don't move as one from task to task. Some students take longer than others to put away or get out materials. So long as they know your expected routines for transitions, you can move along with the majority while a few students straggle behind. In any case, don't just have a plan for transitions that your students can expect. You need to teach it and practice it. Check for understanding and ingrain it. Number 5, student breaks. Teachers perhaps save some of their strongest opinions for this topic. Bathroom needs, stretch breaks, trips to the water fountain, they can be the bane of a teacher's existence. Primary grade teachers often have an open bathroom policy for good reason. Some teachers hand out hall passes, others want students to earn them. Perhaps you establish that your students shouldn't go during the first or last 10 minutes of class since it's too close to a break. It could be your pet peeve that students break during direct instruction. You might require students to stay after class. They owe you time for their water break. You might have outside the box accountability where students answer a content question before you let them re-enter the room. Sure, you can go to the bathroom, Billy, but it's getting back in that could be an issue. Wink, wink. Maybe you teach 12th graders and they can come and go within reason. Maybe you teach kindergarten and classroom accidents are very much a reality in your world. In any of these cases, save yourself the headache by communicating expectations early, often, and by reinforcing as needed. 6th, huddle groups. A great way to routinely differentiate without skipping a beat is the huddle group. It requires establishing a culture where students are honest about their progress. The huddle group works wonders when most of the class is ready to begin a task, but a small number of students need additional guidance. You can ask students to self-identify, when they need additional clarification, calling them to your huddle, right? It will instead keep the rest of the class moving. It doesn't keep the rest of the class on hold. Or the teacher could identify which students need clarification by circulating the room and putting distinguishing marks or colors on a student's paper. This also works to address the needs of students returning from being called out of class or who return from an absence. Overtime conversations with students who need a bit more direction can be applied as well. Establishing huddle groups and those routines will keep students flowing, even when they are working at variable paces. So there's the 6 action steps. Which concept regarding structure and routines could you incorporate into your classroom? If you've already incorporated all these concepts, where do you see the most room for improvement? Need a copy of all the Complete Teacher lessons on slides? Looking for an e-reader or physical copy of the Complete Teacher? Want to browse thousands of other top-rated, engaging resources? Check out the links below.